Democracy contributes to ideals that give power to the people. You can vote for whoever you want with no consequences. The challenge this consequentially brings is politicians are more encouraged to make do for short-term gains. If they are challenged every 4 years on their position, for example, in the States, of power, who's to say they are planning for the long term when as long as they impress you every 4 years, up to 8, or in Canada, every 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, they can just keep winning votes in the short term. Guys, is our system broken in that way? And so this actually kind of goes back to the capitalist conversation and a little bit of democracy, but is it broken?
Politicians are playing 3 games. Okay, they're playing the political party for the betterment of the people, which should be priority number 1, in my opinion. They're playing the political game to keep their party in a position of power, to keep them, like their party, relevant. And thirdly, they have to do what is best for themselves and what is maybe not the best for the opposition, because they are playing politics. They need to have a thing. What I think is politicians or the policy should go above and beyond with, regardless that person is in power, even after they're in power. It's like an entrepreneur creating generational wealth.
But you can't moderate. You can't moderate that and actually hold somebody accountable to that, because like, think about it. I want to win votes. I want to stay in power.
Right.
So let me just make the best short-term decisions around housing, let's say.
So yes, the system is broken. I would say yes to that.
But then
just because of the fact that it's temporary. Any solution that's made comes with a timeline, which is short enough. If you're not thinking about the country, then you're thinking about your party. You're thinking about you, which comes with the job. It's understandable. But then there's more to you doing the job. It's not just for you and your party. It affects actual people.
But it's just funny.
Does that value, though, like short-term versus long-term thinking and the actual betterment of like the people of the country?
But it's just funny to me because, and I want to throw this to you. People give Prime Minister Trudeau, flack for his green policy. Carbon tax sucks. But in his mind, just to see it from his perspective, he's saying is, well, I'm thinking about the long-term future of Canada. I'm not thinking about right now.
So one of the biggest things I did want to point out was his EV. So electric vehicles, amazing. But if you think about it, let's say Canada establishes all EV, trucks still need gas. And to build these batteries, you're still creating carbon emissions elsewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So at the end of the day, even though we're lessening our carbon footprint, we're actually creating it more elsewhere.
But even let's say we are at lessening our carbon footprint, just for sake. Like, I'm not to get into a carbon debate here, but like, in his viewpoint though, he's making a decision for the long term, but it seems like most of Canada hates him for it.
I feel like it's exaggerated though. At the end of the day, this is what I see as a 2030 goal, but at the end of the day, it's not really going to hit 2030.
You're saying it's not necessarily realistic, which is why people are frustrated. Well, it's just ironic to me because you're saying is you appreciate somebody who thinks long term. He's coming out, he is thinking long term, and yet we don't like
a short-term
majority
example,
of Canada don't support him.
A short-term example with that I think was a completely mismanaged way of funds and could have been dealt with in a whole lot and way more efficient way was the ArriveCan app.
Okay, fair.
So you look at that. There's massive trenches of water that these guys are going into, saying that this company got paid XYZ amount of money. What's going on with this? Was that the best use of our taxpayers' dollars for this point in time?
But they made a short-term decision that was of the best interest of the public, that they believe they needed the ArriveCan app right there and then.
And do you think that was the best use of the funds that could have been done at this point in time for the betterment of the Canadian people?
Playing Monday morning quarterback? No, I don't think it was the best use. But that's looking backwards. In the moment, we had a few months to make a decision. Let's create this app. Okay, we'll pay whatever it takes to get this done because people's health is the absolute priority. I'm just playing devil's advocate on what both sides could say.
I think people are not ready to wait because of the mindset created because of the problem, which is broken.
Right.
If it's 3 years, 4 years, everyone, including consumers, I'm talking the public, when they vote, it's on the basis of 3 to 4 years. Even they aren't thinking long term, right? They're in the spot thinking about someone just for 3 to 4 years.
Is there a point to a politician planning for the long term when they're probably going to be out? Like, in Canada, you won't hold power for more than 10 years. Like, that's really good if you hold that. Yes. So is there really a point?
I can think of like the feminist humanitarian aid.
Okay.
So with the Liberal government, they had actually started having expenditures and they increased that expenditure. But let's say if the next party comes in, they're going to either get rid of it or lessen the amount of spending. So to be honest, when he's talking about the feminist humanitarian aid, this is what we're doing. This is Canada's approach. But at the end of the day, it's not going to happen.
And the other thing too is like, Like, look at our election right now.
Mhm.
If Pierre Poilievre gets into power, then who knows? Half of what Prime Minister Justin Trudeau just put in for the last 8 years or 10 years could just be eradicated.
Exactly.
We don't have time to chat about this a little bit more, but we'll get into it in about 30 seconds, a minute here. Okay, we'll chat soon.
I'ma rule the world, yeah.